Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
Excellent. Got the chicken, okay?
We need like chicken wire like the Blues Brothers in case anyone's going to cut rubber chickens.
When we first came in, the lady gave us the beers free, so.
Are we good? Is there any, Oh, we got 2 minutes. Should we wait for stragglers or listen to them?
No,
Let's. All right, next, we got it, boys.
let's wait.
Here you go.
Lazy.
What's running tonight?
Tonight, oh, excitement for the capital X. It's Dinosaurus. So it was made by the same people that made the Blob, and they originally wanted Steve McQueen to be the star of it, but after having so much trouble with him in the Blob, they said, we don't want anything to do with him. They said you get some guy named Ward or something, not Ward. And it's got stop motion dinosaurs and a caveman, and it's really pretty goofy, so.
Still got 2 minutes.
Now I'm striking. We should, every time a stranger walks in, go, finally!
We're waiting. Hilarious.
It's been nice, those of you who came in and came over for an autograph, thank you so much. It was nice of everyone to line up. Somebody could just figure out how to drop the temperature. That would be great. That might work, yes. But we need 6,000 of you doing that. Possibly you spitting chicken.
All right, 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Very exciting, very tense.
Huh?
No, but you are part of, I am recording this for the Word Balloon podcast. So, Sven and I did Rich and I did a talk to promote this last week, and it's already on my podcast feed. So if you want to hear that discussion as well. But that's why I said I'm really glad you guys have questions, because we really want to give you a chance to talk to Rich and get some good stories from the men.
And we had no home makeup. So.
All right, it's time. Let's begin. Excellent.
Stragglers.
Welcome. Welcome, stragglers. Thank you for coming. My name is John Suntress. I host a podcast called the Word Balloon Podcast, and I get to talk to very cool people of geek culture, including our guest today. And I've been such a fan for years, as I know we all have. We all grew up with this man, and it's great that he's still doing the wonderful stuff. We're really lucky in Chicago because we get local entertainment people. And we come from that generation of Ray Rayner and Bozo and Garfield Goose, Fraser Thomas, and people like that. And thankfully, there is still a platform for this man to do what he does. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Svengoolie.
I was worried that, when I came up here to do this panel, we'd have 4 people and 2 of them would be janitors. I really appreciate that all of you have come up here. It's nice to see everybody. It's overwhelming to me now, since we're on nationally, to hear from people all over the country who have actually gotten into the show. And when we come to events like this, it means a lot to me that everybody shows up, so thank you.
No question. Rich, not to age it, but 1979 is when you took over the show.
It was in 1979 at a small FM station.
Yeah, actually it was at WFLD, and that was after a year of kind of battling with them after they decided that I was going to be their horror host. Because at first, originally, my costume looked exactly like the original Svengoolie, Jerry G. Bishop, with a long green wig and a sweatshirt and everything. And they were like, well, that looks kind of like it's, too, I don't know about the green hair. So I changed it, and I changed the hair to brown and everything. They were still, well, it seems too, outdated, that sort of hippie thing like that. And so I went home and used the stuff that I just had of my own. A top hat. I bought the wig at Kmart, which is a whole other story. And I had this double-breasted jacket I got. They were selling for like $10 each at like C2E2 or something like that. And I used to wear a chain, and that chain actually was the chain from a wall clock that looked like a stopwatch or pocket watch. And I should tell the Kmart story. Theatrical wigs are very expensive. Yeah. So I went to the Kmart. I thought, well, they have those women's wigs there, and they used to sell. They had a whole department of that, and a lot of them were like, $35, $40, something like that, which is a lot less than a theatrical wig. So I went up and I go up to the girl at the counter, and I said, okay, here's what's happening. I'm going to have a TV show, and I need a wig, a long wig, and I was looking at, I think that one might work. She says, okay, great. She says, yeah, we get a lot of gay guys coming in here to buy it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. But I said, no, really, I'm doing a TV show, and I said, it's going to premiere on such and such a date. If you watch, you'll see. I bought the wig and everything, and then, of course, naturally, it was delayed a month. So she tuned in on that day. She's going, But after we got the next costume that I cobbled together, I walked into this program director's office and said, this is it. I think this will work. And he's looking at me like, well, I don't know. This was a program director who I would refer to as, the dead mackerel. Because you'd ask him a question and his expression would be, and no matter what the question was, he never had the answer right. It was always first that. And so he's still doing the, I don't know, and I just said, you know what? This is it. This is what I'm going to wear. And he's like, oh, okay. And that was it. And finally we got everything together and hit the air in June of 1979. The first movie was in the year 2889. Does anybody know that movie?
I've heard of it.
Exactly. It's terrible. It really is. But that was the beginning.
Well, and also your look, was it inspired by like Rocky Horror Picture Show or anything like that?
No, okay. Actually, it was all playing off Jerry's original look. With the long hair and the circles around the eyes and mustache and beard. And I just added, like I said, stuff I got at home, stuff out of the trunk. And that was pretty much it.
That's awesome. You mentioned Jerry, and I'm sure older fans know too, that there was, of course, originally, Rich was the son of Svengoolie. Because there was a Svengoolie before him, Jerry G. Bishop, who was, again, another Chicago, entertainment and reporter guy. You guys worked together in radio?
Yeah, Jerry got born in Chicago. He ended up, as most people do, traveling around the country, working his way back to Chicago. And an incredibly talented man, and very generous, because he was the one that decided I should be son of Svengoolie. He also was the one that decided I should just be Svengoolie when I came to WCIU. And he pretty much just turned the keys over to me, because he said, yeah, you can do this, and it'll be great, and go ahead. And that really kind of blew me away, that he would be so generous with that. And everything I know, he's passed now, but he was very proud of what I'd done, and that means a lot to me.
Well, and you guys had that great, at the time, radio sensibility of sketches and parody songs, and you brought that to the television show. And of course, you wrote for Jerry before taking over the show as well. But I mean, it's that kind of like homemade entertainment that just you don't see anymore on television. And it's so great that now you've got this national platform. I mean, we've always been in to how funny Rich is and everything, how great the show is. But now it really is delightful to watch celebrities and other people from all over the country say how great you are.
Yeah, we just ran into Tom Kenny, SpongeBob. Yesterday, right before I was going out to autograph, from waiting behind the curtain there, and the celebrities are always going by in their little golf carts. It's like their Bob Hope, ladies and gentlemen. This golf cart's coming by, and there's like 4 people in it, and there's one guy in it, all of a sudden yells, "Svengoolie, SpongeBob loves you." And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm thinking, wait, that's him. And we finally met, and he was just so nice and very excited. And he's a big fan of the show. And every time I stumble on people like that, I'm just blown away, because it's like, here are these real professional people who are fans, and it's very cool.
Big geek icons. I mean, when I first did a video interview with Rich a couple of years ago, Joel Hodgson from Mystery Science Theater had to come over, shake your hand, say that you were an inspiration to him.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's just amazing to me that you know, these days we run into so many people who are fans of the show. And you know, Mark Shepard from Supernatural, he was probably, he got in touch with me via Twitter and told me that he's a big fan of ETV and on my show. And we saw him for the first time yesterday, and the guys working with me will tell you, it's like, it was as if we were old friends meeting, and we had a great conversation. We're going to see him later on, too. And that's just so cool to me, because I'm still, you know, a geek and a fan of all these people, too. And for them to even know who I am means something.
You're at a Comic-Con. I should ask you, I'm sure you were a comic book reader when you were a kid as well.
Yes, definitely so. I still have, in my basement, a lot of the very early DC stuff from the early 60s. I have the very first appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, the very first Poison Ivy.
Wow.
I have the issue of the Flash where Kid Flash gets his current uniform. I was always a big fan, Superman and Batman, and I remember when I was like junior high age, I drew a Batman comic and sent it to DC, not knowing how things work, of course. And you know, about 2 months later, it was returned, and I opened it up, and I'm looking, and it's in there, and there's no letter or anything. And I was very confused at the time, not realizing that, you know, they don't take outside submissions, and especially ones from, you know, 13-year-old kids.
I understand Dan DiDio, the publisher, came and took a tour of the set.
Yeah, again, another guy. Last year at this very event, he was waiting in line, you know, and you know, we didn't even know who he was at the time. And you know, here's publisher of DC Comics coming up here to talk to us, and he let us in on some cool information. In Mad Magazine #2, Sergio, and I'm going to say his name wrong, Aragones.
That's how you say it.
Oh, good. See,
Yeah.
how do I win? Sergio Aragones has drawn me into some of the little side patterns, and they took a picture of me holding the #1 issue that's on sale now, and that's going to be in that same issue of Mad.
That's excellent. My God, that's iconic. And again, one of the original cast of idiots of Mad Magazine that's still working for the magazine today.
I'm a new idiot.
You know, if you have questions, we've got the microphone here, and I really do want you to line up because we will lapse into conversation. So please take the opportunity. But while you're possibly lining up, I wanted to ask: when you do a movie, how long does it take from you deciding, all right, we're going to do this movie, to you coming up with the bits and you know, making the 2-hour show?
Well, basically, we try to set up our schedule so that the whole year is all laid out. I work with our boss, and he tells us which movies we get from the distributors, and we lay out the whole schedule. And then, you know, I would say usually about maybe 2 weeks before we get to a movie, I'll start screening it. And when I do that, take a lot of notes on it. I break it down into the various segments, try to figure it out for time even then if we need to take extra time on it. And then, in the meantime, we're also doing post-production on other shows. So it's like it's not full time working on that, but we get through that. I start thinking about what I'm going to do, and as far as the songs, I figure out one line maybe that will make sense with an old song. And Doug Sharp, who I went to high school with and who plays Doug Graves, I'll just call him and tell him what song we're doing and how much of it we're doing, and he makes the track. And then I figure out what the words are and plug them in. And we do one rehearsal of it right before we tape it, and then we put it on tape for the show. And then the rest of the time we're just writing the rest of the bits and getting those together. And then once we finish shooting, it gets turned over to our editors, my director and editor, Chris Faulkner, and Jim Roach helps out with the editing as well. And we do the post-production stuff where we find the clips to put in and any of the sound effects or whatever else we need. So it spans, it's hard to put definitely just because we're working on various stuff from before and after. But within about 3 weeks, I say.
Wow. And you write, I mean, I know he helps you with the music for the songs, but you write the bits?
Yeah,
you're a one-man machine.
You can blame me.
I don't that's amazing.
The only writer, that's funny because, you know, when we tell the story of how I got involved with Jerry, was I was just a fan of his, and I would send him material, and he liked it, and he found out I was a broadcasting student, and he said, why don't you come down to the station? And he found out I did voices, so he said, you can be this off-camera voice. And he always said to me, it's a good thing you came along when you did, because I had just about done everything I knew when you showed up, and you provided all this material. And every time I tell that story, I have to do here's the facts of things. I don't need any help, thank you. Because I know a lot of people are always volunteering, and pretty much I've always written it myself, and I still have ideas, and at this point it's still kind of me doing it. So thank you so much for your interest, but...
We're covered.
Yeah, we're covered.
We're covered, that's awesome. Let's get some questions from the audience. Sir, please start.
Hi, Rich. Wanted to congratulate you on your syndication anniversary. I love you. And the movie that I hated that you showed was that the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. Is there any movie that you kind of hated showing?
What of your own work have you hated?
Let me say, first of all, 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T was unusual. I mean, there were parts that I liked and parts that I didn't, and there was a lot of it that some people didn't. One movie that I ran that I really didn't like much was Curse of the Swamp Creature. I can't remember the guy's name. Does anybody recall his name? He did a couple of those. Larry Buchanan, is it? Oh, okay. And it's not exactly one of my favorites, nor is it the favorite of that child. Another one that when I was at 32, they used to give me all the time was Track of the Vampire. Now this movie was shot partially someplace like Romania and partially someplace in California, and neither side knew what the other one was doing. It was about an artist who was a vampire, and it had a long sequence with a girl dancing on the beach, and they used like one of those sort of fly vision lenses, so there's all these images of her. And it was absolutely awful, and I hated that movie. And yet the program director, he'd always bring me a list of movies. He'd put them on a tray on little Post-it notes, and act like he was bringing me gold. And most of it. So when he brought that to us one time, I talked with our film editor, the late Mike Smith, and I said, I can't stand it, we're running this again. So we did a couple different things. During one part, there's a long part where a girl's being chased by the vampire guy. And eventually gets chased into the water. There's like a bald lifeguard there, and she's killed by the vampire. So we did a whole audio track where he was her swim coach, and she didn't want to go to swim practice. And all that, we found this through there, with the sound effects and everything. I made up all this dialogue. And eventually when she's at the beach and in the water, the bald lifeguard became Curly. Oh, what's going on over there? And then there was another part where something ended, and when it hit the ending of it, this guy Mike Smith, the legality probably was not there then, but we'd really be going in a handbasket if we tried it now. He took all these clips from other movies and he just linked them all together. It must have gone on for 3 minutes. At one point, here's Liberace in some movie saying, and I'm so glad to be here in Chicago. Then it got to Dean Martin going, Chicago? And it was hilarious. And the thing was, shows you how much management cared. They never said a word about it. They never saw it. So, yeah, that was the movie that I think was among the most hated that I had.
Also, I wanted to ask you, are you ever planning to put any of the skits or the movies on DVD?
We really aren't talking about it just because a lot of them involve the film clips. And Universal and some of the other distributors really will not allow us to do it because of their rights to it. And it would end up being a very expensive proposition. I'd love to, but I know people post all sorts of stuff. We never post anything on YouTube, but a lot of people post all sorts of old bits, so you can see a pretty large portion of my career out there.
Which is awesome, absolutely. Sir?
What's your favorite movie and what's your less favorite movie?
Well, I think we talked about less favorite there, probably. Those two, Curse of the Swamp Creature and Track of the Vampire. I don't have one favorite because I like different movies for different reasons. Obviously, I really like all those original Universal films. The Wolfman and Dracula, and one of my favorites really is Creature from the Black Lagoon. I always thought that was very cool, and it really seemed so original to me because it wasn't, a legendary monster or something created by a scientist or something. It was just this fossil that had lived on for years and years. So I'd say definitely Creature from the Black Lagoon is near the top of my favorites.
That's awesome. What did you think of Shape of Water?
And I'm sorry to say, I haven't seen it yet. I know, I have too much other work.
I understand.
And I never catch up. Yeah, and we, especially the past few months, we've had a lot of stuff going on. I was hoping to finally catch up with it, but I will. And when I do, I'll come back here and I'll tell you. No, I think I have one from the SAG.
Yeah, me too. Okay, that's cool.
See, we get screeners of the various movies so that we can vote.
For award season.
Yeah.
So.
Hi Sven, I got two questions.
Yeah.
Where did the Sven vision came about? And when you did an episode of Son of Svengoolie where Jerry G. Bishop was a guest star, did you wish that he dressed up in full Svengoolie outfit?
Let's get the second one first. Yeah, it was nice. He just happened to be in town for something, and he came to visit. And I said, hey, you want to do something on the show? He said, yeah, sure. The thing was, he didn't want to dress up in this stuff. And actually, when he and I were working together at WMAQ Radio, and we were doing mornings, they actually, for publicity, they did a Svengoolie funeral so that it would kind of divorce him from the character. And it was really eerie because they had a dummy made up like him in a coffin. And it was a little bit like, ooh. But yeah, he got to a point where he didn't want to wear it. And one of the reasons, which is also the reason why he decided I could be Son of Svengoolie, was he didn't want to dress up in the stuff again because he actually had, at the time, aspirations to maybe run for a political office. And he thought, whoever was running against him would hold up some picture of him as Svengoolie, going, this is my opponent! He really didn't want to go with that. And what was the first question again? Because my mind's like Swiss cheese.
Oh, no, that's okay. Where did the Sven vision came about?
Sven's around?
Sven's around, sorry.
Yeah, actually, that does go back to when Jerry was on, because there were certain nights when he was the staff announcer on duty, and he was bored, and he and some of the engineers would take some of his sound effect parts and lay them into the movie. And I always thought that was very funny. And as far as myself, I always loved the Woody Allen What's Up Tigerland. And also SCTV did an episode of Cisco Kid where they redubbed the whole thing. And I always loved stuff like that, so that was what we did. There were times when we'd redo the voices, and other times we'd just add sound effects. And that was really the basis for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent.